And trading around 697, 698. So it looks like we're really range bound ahead of that FOMC decision tomorrow afternoon.
Hi Stephen, yes, you're right. The rand is quite range bound since from yesterday, and it seems like the participants in the market are really waiting for the FOMC meeting. I know there's a lot of data that came out yesterday. There was PMI here in South Africa and across the world, and it seems like all the data that's coming out at the moment is not swaying the market either way, as the market is waiting for the FOMC decision tomorrow.
Of course, we had those manufacturing numbers, as you said, China, the UK and the US, all coming in a little bit better than expected. To what extent do you think that could pair the extent of quantitative easing we see coming out of the Fed tomorrow evening?
Yes, no, it was quite interesting that PMI did go up in most countries, and with the exception of Japan and South Korea and Brazil, where PMI sort of just slowed down there. But then across the world, PMI was still really strong. With China, we had PMI surprising on the upside, and with UK and US as well. And here in South Africa, PMI did edge a little bit higher, and we saw, although the number is quite positive, there was seasonal adjustment on the number for South Africa, and it seems like without those adjustments, PMI could have been higher at 50.8. But then what's worrying with the numbers are that there continues to be job shedding in the manufacturing sector. So even though the numbers are quite positive, the jobs market is quite a concern for us.
Well, we had this morning the Royal Bank of Australia raising interest rates by 25 basis points. And I think that one took the market by surprise. India also raising its repo rate by 25 basis points. So it looks like we're getting monetary easing in some countries, but in others, really full steam ahead at this stage.
No, definitely. And I mean, it seems like, in Asia where interest rates are going higher, there is quite a difference between the Asian market and what's happening in Australia, in the US. And it looks like, GDP growth in Asian markets, specifically in Australia and India, is quite strong, and authorities are really worried about inflation expectations, and they have raised interest rates, therefore, to sort of curb those inflation expectations. And with the US, where monetary policy is expected to be easing, there the growth is still quite weak. And with the US as well, going into tomorrow, it seems like the market is really looking at what the Fed is going to be doing there, and whether the size of the quantitative easing will be really significant. And the market is pricing in between 100 to $500 billion worth long-term asset purchasing in the US. So we'll really see what the US is doing tomorrow.